Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Down in the Country podcast. It's also a brand new season two as well. I'm here chatting with Alec MacGillivray, who's an up and coming country music artist. Thank you so much for your time today, Alec.
Yeah, what's happening, dude? How are you?
Good, good. And, so you would describe yourself as fueled by Nashville style and Boston swagger. What does that mean to you and your identity as an artist, specifically when you do dynamic live performances?
Sure. So obviously, I'm not from the South. So like when you're talking about country, like there's kind of there's kind of one thing you have in mind, right?
Hmm.
But Boston has this giant country scene and people love it. And you know, these country artists come up and sell a ton of tickets. And like there's a lot of parts of Boston that are, pretty rural, and especially New England. There's a lot of farming and stuff like that. That's not where I come from, but yeah, just like growing up on country music, but also, the kind of music that's big in Boston, like these like Aerosmith, um, and like Boston and these other bands that kind of bring an attitude to their style, and it just kind of seemed natural to me to just kind of combine those things. I love the Nashville style of songwriting.
Hmm.
Um, and the fun that country can be. These country shows are the best time ever. So
Hmm.
yeah, but kind of just with a little bit of an edge and a little bit of extra gas in the tank.
Kind of like it's kind of that finesse, but it's kind of like that don't screw with me type of attitude.
Yeah.
Awesome. And, when you were identifying your style, kind of that fueled by Nashville style and Boston swagger, were you listening to any particular artists while you were trying to figure out kind of where you wanted to be within the country music space?
Yeah. I guess. The big country artist that kind of got me into it was, Kenny Chesney,
Hmm.
Toby Keith, and Keith Urban were some of the first people. Like, we got CMT when I was, probably 10 or 11 or whatever, and those are kind of the three guys that I remember like being on repeat in the queue there, and just kind of being like, this is I like what these guys are doing. This is pretty cool. And then they all kind of had like a rock aspect to it, and yeah, just kind of that combination of you know country, but sent a little bit more, I guess.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's funny you mentioned that. I think now that I recall, I think "I Love This Bar" by Toby Keith was one of
Yeah,
the first music videos that I ever saw in the country music space.
yeah, and he did such a great job of like you know honestly kind of Aerosmith kind of did this too. It's like the videos were like kind of a joke. They were like, there was a wink and a nudge of like, hey, like, I'm in on the joke too. And
Hmm.
I remember the As Good as I Once Was video. I remember the first time I saw that, I was like, wait a minute, this feels like a Billy Madison, in a
Yeah,
music video.
yeah. Did you manage to see like that final like studio video that they released? It was like that song that ships. Um, it's like ships that pass through the night, and it had Luke Combs on it too as well. It
No.
was like his final. Um, it was like his final recording session.
Sure.
Um, and I swear, like he never, when he was sick, when Toby was sick, he never lost his voice like at all.
No,
Like it's
Toby is
amazing.
Toby's that dude. Toby has been and will continue to be that dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry to get off on a little bit
No,
of
no,
a
no, no.
Toby tangent a little bit,
Right?
but
Hey, any Toby tangent is a welcome tangent.
so a little bit about your music. So Bad Day to Be a Bud Light, which was released in 2016, and then Bad Influence, released in 2024, are
Yeah.
two examples where you combine your northern and kind of that southern style that you were mentioning. So um, could you just provide like an introduction specifically to Bad Day to Be a Bad Bud Light, what it's about and kind of what it means to you?
Yeah. You know, I'm not going to pretend it's not like a Pulitzer Prize winning song. You know what I mean? But no, yeah, that's all obviously changed my life, and it did kind of have an interesting origin story. Quick shout out to to Casey Derrick, who I wrote it with, and honestly, my buddy Bob Richmond, who I played football with in college, I got the title from him. We were doing a freshman, like it was our senior year. We were doing a beer Olympics with our freshman roommates, and I'll never forget. I think we started at like 7, 8 in the morning. It was an all day thing, and at like 6 in the morning, we get a text from Bob just being, "Hey boys, it's a bad day to be a Bud Light." Now I remember I wrote it down in my notes section. It's like, that is a song. That is that is unbelievable. And I brought it to Nashville, and I pitched it to a million people. Like everybody that I wrote with, I was like, "Hey, like, I've got this one idea, and like I don't know if like it's kind of aggressive, and like I don't know if everyone will get it." And everybody was like, "No, I don't know if I feel it." And Casey, my buddy Casey, who I've written a million songs with, he was immediately just like, "Dude, yeah, that's it. That's awesome." And I remember leaving the right that day, sending it to my buddies, just being like, "Fellas, like I got a one here." So, yeah, we had so much fun, and we made the music video on my cousin Ryan's boat in the vineyard, and just that song has allowed me to have so much fun. And again, not a Pulitzer Prize winner, but it's fun, man, and people love drinking beer, and I do too. So like it's a great situation for everybody involved.
Yeah, I was rolling on the floor laughing with that supersized beer bottle. Not to spoil too much.
It's great.
Do you mind if we play like a 30, 40-second clip of the song?
Yeah, go ahead.
Everybody saying, "Yeah." Everybody saying, "Well." Saturday, been waiting all week to hit the beach in the SUV. A bunch of girls, couple guys, and me ready to go. Oh, quick stop at the liquor store. 5K to the 24, cause who wants to come back from all? No, nobody. We kill 'em, crush 'em, chug 'em, love 'em. We can't get enough of 'em. It's a good day to be sunshine, a good day to be tan lines. Yeah, it's good to be the music up, a good day to be a plastic cup. Well, it's a great day for a good time, but it's a bad day to be a Bud Light.
I love how you like kind of come in, you kind of have that beat. It kind of makes it a little bit of hip hop ish, and then you kind of combine your hard rock vocals. Like I remember before we hopped on the podcast, you were talking about like how you started a rock band. So I kind of like got that rock influence a little bit too as well, and it just matched like perfectly.
Thanks. Yeah, and shout out to Jason Garner, produced it too. Like I remember I kind of came in and I was like, "Dude, look, I kind of want to do this thing in the verse," and he just like there was no real like, well, that's not a country song, or that's not this. He was just totally open to like, yeah, let's just try and do something that we like and that we think sounds good. And that the whole process of that song, between the writing and the recording and the video, everything was like some of the most fun just I've ever had. And the ability to just, kind of cut loose and not have to take yourself seriously is pretty awesome to have.
Yeah. And I could just feel when I listened to that song and then also watched the music video, which I think everyone needs to see that music video at least like once in their life. You could just feel like the viewer as well. I mean, for the video and then the listener for the music, it feels like you're part of that conversation, which is, having fun and just not caring what people think.
Yeah. I mean, look, and my buddy Ryan McFadden made the video, and I just remember telling him, I was like, "Dude, look, we're just gonna get on this boat and I just film it. Just like we're gonna have some fun. We got some people coming, and like I don't know what's gonna happen, but I know that it's probably gonna be hilarious. So just like keep that thing rolling, and like I trust that you'll be able to figure it out after, because he's obviously very talented." But I was like, "Look, we'll give you the raw footage, but you're gonna have to figure out how it's a video at the end." So I mean, great times.
Yeah. Not to age myself too much, but I felt like I was 20 years old when I was listening to that and watching that music video. So
good. Love that, dude.
And then another single that you actually released, Bad Influence. So that was released in 2024.
Yeah.
So could you provide us like an introduction of that song?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, so I wrote that with my buddy PJ North and Frank Leger. And I mean, that's just kind of like a rocker, you know. Still obviously kind of has that country vibe to it, but yeah, it's just about like, you know, doing things you shouldn't do, and you know, maybe just like those things that maybe you know aren't the best idea ever, but you know, you're gonna go through with it because it's fun and it's good. And you know, yeah, that's kind of like again, you know, not another Pulitzer Prize winner, but it's fun, man, and we had a really good time recording it. And yeah.
Awesome. Do you mind if we also play
Yeah.
like a similar
Yeah,
30-40 minute clip? Okay, awesome.
Hey, your friends ain't heard from you in days. They start to wonder if you ran away. And all that shit you said you never said, you say it to me. Yeah, the way you come alive at night. We're out here chasing down your wild side. And baby, you don't even have to try. We catching the vibe. But you tell me I'm a bad influence. But darling, you ain't innocent. I pull up your jumping in your bed, but I'm into it.
And just listening to those two songs, and I congratulate you on it. I could totally, you know, listen and feel like how much you progressed as an artist from One Bad Day to Be a Bad Light unto that song. It's like how was the creative process for that song? Like everything from writing it to cutting it.
That one was just kind of like a little more straightforward, you know, like we got together at Frank's place, we wrote the song in a few hours, and we just kind of like, yeah, dude, we dig this. And then we pretty much started cutting it that day. I mean,
oh wow.
Yeah. Like we were kind of building the demo and going for it. And then we just kind of knew that we wanted to cut it, and we just kind of went right for it right away. So like wow. that was, you know, less of a story to it, just kind of like yep, like for sure, let's just get cooking on it. But you know, that's just as good, you know, if you're excited about something and you start working on it. Like there's not as much time for the story, but you're already getting going on it, you know. So yeah, kind of two opposite ends of things, where like that one was a little bit easier to get to the end. And Bud Light was a little bit more of like, you know, finding the right people to be involved with it. But yeah, no, I appreciate that. I have like severe ADHD, so that obviously kind of comes out in the music a little bit too, where it's like, you know, country this, rock that, and like, you know, just whatever we're feeling, we'll try to do. So yeah.
And I do love the hat in that Spotify video reel for Bad Influence.
Yeah.
So it's kind of adds a little bit of your style in it too as well.
Cool. Appreciate it. Yeah.
And then how would you like identify each of those respective songs? So Bad Day to Be a Bud Light, as well as Bad Influence. Like where do they sit in kind of your like mental catalog?
Like genre wise, or
like how would you classify them, like genre wise, or
dude, I'll be totally honest with you. I don't like, it's just kind of like, you know, whatever comes out, and I'll let other people classify it. Like, you know, you want to call it country, great. You want to call it rock, fantastic. Like obviously that each one leans either way. But yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of things now, and every time I think I have something classified, it turns out I'm totally wrong. So I'm just kind of like, you know, I've just kind of let it be for, you know, whoever wants to decide they want to classify something, they can go ahead and have their fun. But I'm I'm out on that. I'll make it and I'll put it out, and I hope that people like it as much as I do.
Awesome. No, that's a great philosophy. It's kind of like not caring what others think.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, I mean, at this point, like, does the classification really matter that much? Like, right? At least that's what I think. It's like, you know, call it whatever you want as long as you listen to it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Which I want to say, Bad Day to Be a Bud Light and Bad Influence are both on Spotify, so stream them as long as you
Yeah,
want.
right. Go check them out.
And so you're from Boston.
Yeah.
And so how does your music represent who you are as a person while not negating your New England roots? And what I mean by that is, like, when you sing, what do you want people to know about Boston? And when you're on the stage, how do you see them being connected to your music?
Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily think about it like that, but like, you know, Boston definitely has a giant effect of who I am, and I think it's like, you know, like I was talking about earlier, just kind of that edge, a little bit of an edge to things, and like, you know, the just the overall vibe of things, you know, like it's kind of one of those Boston things is kind of like, you know, fuck you, but I got your back, you know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think it comes out more in the show, you know, in the live show. There's definitely like an attitude and an attack to it, as well as just, you know, like just trying to have a good time. But like, you know, when I'm singing or writing, I'm not really like, you know, I got to rep Boston here. It's just like, it's just kind of one of those things where, you know, if I'm being me, it'll be there, and that's, you know, all you can kind of really do at this point, I think.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say your Celtics absolutely wrecked my Mavericks in the NBA Finals, but we're not going to go there. And there was another song that I thought, should have its own merit. So, because it's another song that I think really represents kind of how you've grown from when your first Bad Day to Be a Bud Light was released in 2016 up until this point. Be Here in the Morning, which was also released in 2024, shows your growth as an artist. Could you just provide like a introduction on that particular single too as well?
Yeah, that song, that's one of my favorites that I've ever written. I was kind of like, I'd written a ton of songs in a, you know, like a month or two space, and I was just kind of getting pretty burnt out on things, honestly. And I was getting like, you know, just a little bit of, you know, self-doubt, and just like, you know what, just a burnout whole situation. And I kind of just was, I was sitting in my room one day and I was like, you know what, I'm going to take a break. You know, I've burnt myself out. Like, I don't care about writing songs right now. Like, I haven't liked anything I've done in a little while. And it's like, I'm just going to take a little break and try to, you know, just chill for a minute and come back, and, you know, maybe I'll be having a better time in a little bit. And I remember that day I was sitting in my room, just this guitar sitting in the corner, just staring at me. And I'm like, oh, this fucking, this thing is not going to let me go, is it?
Was it the tan guitar, by the way?
Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, man, this thing, of course, like, I'm trying not to pick it up. I'm like putting on a movie. I'm like, you know, just anything. I'm like, you're not doing it. You're not doing it. And then finally I was like, oh man, screw it. All right. And I picked it up, and the first thing I played was this riff, that the song was based around. And I like wrote these lyrics, and like, you know, kind of didn't make much sense, to be honest. Like, there's some cool lines and stuff, but like, definitely the idea and the heart of the song is there, right? And so I was like, okay, like, well, that's interesting. Like, I like that a lot. And I brought it to my buddy Eric Torres and John Caldwell, and we just had this awesome write with it. You know, we were sitting in the studio and we were just kind of shooting the shit. And then we were like, you know what? Yeah, let's go get some coffee real quick. And so we took a walk down Music Row to grab coffee at this outdoor joint. We were just it was really cool, really chill. There was no like, it felt like there was no pressure to write a song. We were just hanging, you know? And we came back and we were like, all right, you know what? Like, let's sit outside. It's the first nice day of the year. And we're like, yeah, dude, let's grab the guitars and let's just go outside, which is like pretty cool. Like a lot of the times we'll sit in the studio and like, we'll work with tracks and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, we just went outside and we were playing the guitars and we ended up, you know, obviously changing some of my gibberish that was there and just ended up coming up with this really cool song that, you know, I really love. And yeah, really, really nice experience and different from kind of some of the other writes that I've been in, and just kind of glad that song was able to end up in good hands that, you know, understood what it was, and, you know, maybe a little bit even better than me. You know, it's just kind of an expression thing. And then, you know, sometimes it takes some other eyes to be like, oh, okay, like, you know, here this is. But yeah, no, another great, you know, like right into recording situation. And yeah, really, really happy with how that one came out, and, you know, pretty proud of that one.
May we?
Yeah.
You say you leave, but that's a lie. I heard it all one too many times. And baby, I know you. By the afternoon, the balance in the room isn't right. So come and meet me at the door, like every time that we had before. You know that I let you in. We'll crawl right back in bed, covers laying on the floor. You say you love me, baby, I'm not sure. And no, you know you have my heart in your hands. But will you be here in the morning? No, I wanna hold you for as long as I can. But will you be here in the morning?
So the first thing I really want to say is I love the kind of that. Do you remember like back in the 90s when you used to like drop the video camera and you used to like have multiple colors, and you're like, if basically it was a sign of that it broke.
Yeah.
I love that feature. It's very similar in kind of that Spotify video reel. And then on top of like the bedroom setting and then like the print be here in the morning. I just wanted to say whoever did the artwork on this did a very, very great job too as well.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that's actually my handwriting. I just threw that thing on my iPad and just, you know, I wrote it 4 or 5 times and I was like, all right, that one looks pretty good. We'll use that. Yeah, appreciate it.
And was there like a particular moment in your life that made you want to write songs that made you more vulnerable when it came to kind of everything from kind of that writing to the cutting process when it came to your music?
Yeah, good question. I don't know. I feel like, you know, I always kind of did it, but like, you know, when it just kind of for a little bit was like the drinking songs and the fun ones were kind of just more the ones that hit. So it's like, you know, it's I've definitely been diving a little bit more into it recently, but yeah, I think it's just like, you know, if you're gonna do it, you might as well be truthful, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, I guess that's kind of it.
Yeah, because it's interesting, kind of because listening, which is Be Here in the Morning's also on Spotify, so be sure to listen to that song too as well. I know you have other songs, but it's nice because Bad Influence was kind of that happy medium between Bad Day to Be a Bud Light and then Be Here in the Morning.
Yeah. I think that's also just kind of like the important thing about writing a lot of songs is like, you know, if you write, you know, 100 songs, you know, hopefully 10 of them will be good. And it's like, just kind of, in order to do that, you got to kind of cover a lot of ground. You know, you can't, I mean, you could write 100 drinking songs and, you know, it might be a good time, but like at some point you got to start kind of moving around your brain and seeing what else you got in there, you know?
No, definitely agree. And and that goes into my next question nicely. So your music has been streamed many times and has been featured on Spotify's Wild Country and Next from Nashville playlists. So, but I'm just curious, how does it make you feel that a guy from Boston is seeing his hard work pay off?
I mean, it's cool. Yeah, it's definitely it just try to make some good tunes, you know? Like
Mhm.
at the end of the day, it it doesn't really matter where you're from, you know? Like Keith Urban's from Australia. So it's like if you if you do it and you put the work in and you care about the craft and you care about your songs and you really pay attention to what you're trying to do, like, yeah, it can work for sure. And just kind of one of those things where it's like, it's just nice to see that, people are digging it. Really. It's
Mhm.
like, the playlists are cool and it's awesome. And, shout out to Spotify for putting them on. It's just a cool way for people to discover the music, and
Mhm.
like the fact that it fits in with the other stuff that's going on is great. If people are going to want to hear it in that, situation and it works, fantastic. I love it. I love it.
Mhm.
It's there's a lot of songs being released and not a lot of them are getting on the playlist. So just, lucky and grateful and just glad that it's working,
Mhm. Yeah. No, and it's been great listening to your music because it's like, I mean, you and I, we've both talked, but it's like now you even if you know someone listening to their music, you're like, I understand their thought processes of why they think the way they do, or kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I feel like that's a better way to get to know me than, kind of like, obviously if you hang out with somebody for a while, you get to know them. But like, if you really want to kind of get right down to it, it's like, this is what I
Mhm.
do.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's cool. It's nice.
And so I got to ask, so you played football at Bentley.
Yeah.
Um, how do you think the Patriots are going to do this year with Jacoby starting at quarterback?
I believe in Gerard. I believe in I believe in Gerard Mayo. And obviously we're in the middle of a rebuild here, but um yeah, we got a little bit of ways to go here. But hey, we believe,
Yeah.
and yeah, as long as we don't turn the ball over, I'm happy.
Yeah. I remember, it's funny. I remember when he was a linebacker and he was playing for them.
Yeah, he was a stud.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was awesome. I remember. I think he was at Tennessee, and then he got. I think he was like a top 10 pick. But yeah, he came in right away, and he was unreal. Just
Mhm.
even as a rookie, he was just a stud out there. So yeah, no, fully believe in Gerard, and you know he will take us back to glory.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just hard just to kind of go from like the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick era. Like it's going to take time.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, I think there could have been some things done to make it go a little bit faster.
Uh-huh.
Um, but patience is a virtue,
Yeah.
and we'll at least extend the patience through this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully we can get it going. First game is Sunday, and we're expecting at least not last year.
Not last year. That's your prediction.
my
Not last.
my expect that's my hope. My
That's your-
I don't know what my prediction is. My hope is that we don't have last year.
You should start making shirts and just say not last year and just sell
Yeah,
them and
right.
see.
Oh man. Oh man. Hopefully, I just oh, it's tough out here. It's tough
Yeah.
out here right now.
Yeah. No, I don't blame. It's not like it's any easier with Cowboys fans either. So
I know. I know. Oh God, I know.
Yeah. Well, you know, we can have that conversation at another
Yeah,
time.
right.
But any new singles, any EPs, album shows that
Yeah.
you're
So I got
doing?
a song coming out on the 13th of September called "Talk with Our Hands,"
Hmm.
um, which is going to be on this upcoming EP. That's with Influence and Be Here in the Morning. That's part of a group of songs that'll be coming out later this year. And then on the 27th, I've got something kind of new for me, which is like I've got like a song with a dance producer coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's called Roaring 20s. I wrote it with my buddy Johnny Gwynn, and yeah, it should be pretty cool. And then big show coming up November 2nd is Corey Fest, which is a show for a charity in Boston that is really near and dear to me. So yeah, that's going to be awesome. It's at the House of Blues in Boston with Jake Owen, and yeah, if you haven't got your tickets yet to that, go ahead and get them. That's like my favorite day of the year every year, and yeah, for a really great cause too. So just excited to be a part of that.
Awesome. And Alec, where can people learn more about you and listen to your music?
Yeah, Spotify, Apple Music, kind of all that stuff. Alec MacGillivray, and yeah, I got on all the socials, and yeah, just really just listen to the music. That's how you're gonna get to know me the best. And yeah, just if you're listening, thank you, and if you're not, you should start.
Thank you, Alec. Really appreciate it. And be sure to subscribe to Down in the Country podcast on YouTube, as well as listen to the audio versions on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. This is Dylan Reed signing off. Thank you so much again for your time today, Alec.
Dude, thanks.